What's up, you guys? Okay. I woke up with a horrible migraine this morning. And I'm running a bath right now. But Spirit said come on here really quick and talk a little bit about ETs more. Because the reading that I just posted, that I did last night actually, but I just posted, I kind of dove into that a little bit. Alright. I want to share a story with you about... Okay, so I said in the video before this one that I have seen tall whites, okay? I've seen medium-sized grays. I've seen these little dark gray, black ones that like run around. They're like little kids. They're like kind of adorable. But, and I've also seen like, what I think were manufactured as well. So I used to live in a house in a rural area that was very active. I think it was on some sort of like an energy vortex, and there were a lot of energies that would end up in that space. I also think that I had a roommate who was doing some weird shady shit, and so may have welcomed certain things in. But I had mentioned that a lot of the times whenever ETs presented themselves to me or UFOs presented themselves to me, most of the time it was to help me in certain situations. So let me give you an example of that. And also I want to mention in the reading I did before this, I mentioned that there were like medium-sized grays that would like come and they just like watch. And I think that a lot of I'm going to be honest with you. I think that they were honestly like scouts for like the tall whites, because the tall whites are tall as fuck. And if I would have seen a tall white before I saw a medium-sized gray, I probably would have freaked the fuck out. Okay. But all right. So I lived in this house that was very active energetically. And in my bathroom, there was, it was not a medium-sized gray alien. It was a human-sized gray species. I didn't understand what it was. I thought it was an alien. It had teeth. It hissed. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of the times I saw whites or medium-sized grays or even like the smaller ones, they were fully materialized, okay? Sometimes they would come and they were like a little opaque, so you could kind of see through them, and they were just presenting themselves to me to show that they were present, and that maybe that the way that I was receiving downloads was... So they were in between worlds, essentially, okay, or cloaking themselves, or I don't really quite know, because that wasn't really the conversation that we had. Anyways, there was one that was like that was in my bathroom, by the bathtub, and this was not neither of the three that I just mentioned, but it was human-sized, didn't have any eyes, very sharp teeth, and hissed. This was... no other human could see this one. This one was on the other side of the veil, okay? So, what I'm trying to say is... What am I trying to say here, Spirit? What's the message, please? Ancestor, double highest white light. Hold on, you guys. Okay, in the reading I said before, or in the reading before this one, okay. Somebody's an exorcist. Somebody has to be an exorcist, okay. There was an entity that was seemingly pretty scary, would have probably scared me if I think I hadn't been through enough already, and or if I hadn't had the guidance of the ETs to help me with the situation. There was an entity that was in my bathroom next to my bathtub. And this is funny because I'm getting ready to take a bath and I'm getting a download that the reason they were by that entity was by my bathtub was actually indicative or symbolic of it having needed a cleanse, and I didn't see that until now. This is years ago. Okay, this was like 6 years ago. probably 5 or 6 years ago, something like that, maybe 7 years ago, I don't know. Anyway, okay, so, all right. So there's this entity. First I felt the energy, okay? First I felt a weird energy, okay? And then there's this entity, and it's quite scary, and it would show up in my dreams too. And I started sleeping outside, and I would see ETs, and I would see, but not like the entity that was in the bathtub. And they would send me downloads, essentially, or channeled messages, or messages, not channeled messages, but messages to help me with the situation and give me insight. This entity that was in my bathroom, like I said, was hissing, but it would never attack me. So I could tell that it was scared. So I kind of would just like pray, like, God, what do I do? Please help me, send me a sign, like send me something, help me help this situation. I don't understand what's going on, you know? And then I would get these ETs that would, that were helping me with the situation. What I learned and what I understood is that this person, it was a human who was turned into a demon that was made to look like an ET, because originally I thought that it was an ET, but it was not. It needed to be exorcised. It needed an exorcism. And so what I did was I raised my frequency. I kept myself elevated. I stood in my power. I remained fearless, just like the ETs told me. And when I say that somebody's a master manifester, what I'm saying is what I did is what you can do, okay? You can stand in your power. You can remain courageous and fearless, and somebody can exercise. And I'm going to kind of try to show you how, or teach you how, I suppose, by this video, okay? Just take what resonates, you guys, too, all right? But I sat, honestly, this is so funny. It was honestly much like how you would with like a cat, a feral cat. But I sat with that entity. So the way that my house or my room was set up, it was actually that I had a room, and then around the corner there was like a bathroom. So what I would do is I would sit in my bed, and I would just sit there in good energy, and I would send it messages. It's okay, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm not going to hurt you. And that entity calmed down. And when I would go in the bathroom, then that entity wouldn't hiss anymore. It wouldn't show its teeth. It wouldn't. And then that entity, as I raised the frequency, the entity's frequency would match mine. And I got a whole download with regards to the story behind and how that entity got to the point of where it had gotten and how it had become so distorted. And now I'm not being allowed to share that story. I don't understand how or why. I mean, I understand how and why that works. Sometimes it's not my place to share these stories, but essentially what had happened was this human was manufactured to become a demonic entity. I think I already said this, that looks like an ET. And the fear of other humans. Now I'm hearing, okay. The fear of other humans, see, I can't even tell the story now. I'm not allowed to share the story. I don't know, maybe the ETs or the entity doesn't want me to. So what am I supposed to say? Spirit, ancestors of the highest white light, galactic family. What am I supposed to say? I held space for that entity. I opened my heart to that entity. I allowed that entity to share its story. I witnessed its story. Maybe that's why I'm not supposed to share the story, because somebody else is going to go through this and they're going to witness this story that's going to be completely different from this entity's. But I witnessed that story's birth, life, the manufacturing, the history of the manufacturing into this. I sat with it as it telepathically told me its story, which makes me feel like I want to cry because it did break my heart. It broke my heart so bad. But by opening up my heart to it, it essentially opened up a channel of light for that entity to heal. And I saw that entity back in its human form, and I saw that entity go back into the light. Okay? Let me pull some cards just to make sure that I'm doing this right. My head does hurt quite bad. We've got courage at the bottom of the deck. So maybe somebody is... So what I'm hearing is maybe there are manufactured entities that are going through mass, like, exorcisms, okay? Maybe whether we know it or not. But there's something about... I don't know. I think maybe that's just the message, you guys. I don't know. Maybe somebody is in a situation where... Okay, what's... the source. So yeah, I brought it back. I gave it love. I showed it love. I obviously, like, the ETs helped me with how to do this and gave me the courage and the strength, really, and the I think the confidence to do this. Yeah, source to be able to exercise and for it to not have shame. Also, this entity had been abused horribly, okay? Suppression. Look at that image. Okay, God, this light is going to be so bright. Look at that image. That's almost kind of what... I see a human here in ropes with its hand like this. Okay? I don't know. This is... I mean, this is... participation. I think that there's like a mass exorcism or something like that, or a cleansing that's happening, and people may just not even know it. But that... And sorrow. Yes, that's exactly what the entity felt. Like, I could feel all of the feelings, and I could see all of it. I opened myself up to allowing it to witness it. And then it felt love, and it opened itself back up to itself, and then it found the light. It went back into the light. So, I don't know. I don't know, maybe that story will help somebody, or maybe it's just interesting for somebody. You guys just take what resonates. I feel like whoever you are, you're a rebel. I had mentioned that too in the reading that I did before this, that somebody had maybe been ostracized for being a rebel, but yeah. It's a different time. We're in a different time now, and my head really hurts now, so I'm just going to leave that there. I hope that this helps somebody, you know, and I'm sending you guys a lot of love. Okay, until next time, bye.